Talk about America I was born in, I believe still, and the one that existed for my parents before I was born. The boomer generation and older. Now I'm just going to talk about like the degree of freedom that a person had. Probably like when I was a toddler, and then back through through the ages, 50, 60, back, I mean, you could, I mean, I'm just saying, here's a conceivable day, like a possibility for what you could do in like a day. Back in, say, the 60s, right? You could, and I mean legally, right? You could walk into a gun store. Wait, hold on. Let's make this a little longer, okay? You could go into a grocery store, smoking cigarettes, walk through there, nobody's bumping into you. Fill up your entire shopping cart with groceries for like $10, $15 or less. Maybe $20 if you want to get lobster and lots of steak or something. Go and stock the freezer at your place in your 2-bedroom house that you're renting for $50 a month. And then you can decide to stop off at the gun store and buy yourself a brand new 44 Magnum and a lever action rifle. You hand them the money, they hand you the guns. You walk out of the store with the guns and some new boxes of ammunition. Then you decide, I'd like to go on a trip to go see my family a couple states over. So you go to the airport. You take your rifle and you sling it over your shoulder, pistol on your damn hip or whatever. You go to the fucking airport with a rifle in your hand, smoking a cigar. You get on the fucking airplane. You put your guns in the overhead compartment above your seat. You sit there, smoking a cigar. You tell the stewardess, give me whiskey, keep 'em coming. Right? They bring you a nice meal. They bring you drink after drink. You get off the airplane. You grab your rifle and your pistol out of the overhead compartment. You grab your baggage. You walk out. You go out to rent a car real quick, which would be real quick because they had 10 times the staff that anything does now. Way more than 10 times the staff. You got hot stewardesses fucking, dressed like just supermodel, hot babe stewardesses and stuff waiting on you the whole fucking time you're on the airplane. You get off, get your rent-a-car, load your stuff up in it. Nobody gives a shit. Everything's fine, right? Oh, your family says that, they're clearing some trees off their property, so you decide to help. So you stop at the hardware store to pick up a case of dynamite at the hardware store. You give them money, they give you a case of dynamite. You walk out of the store, put the dynamite in your car next to the rifle and your handguns and everything else, and you drive over to your fucking family member's house and help blow stumps out. Yeah. Want some fireworks? Go get some fucking bottle rockets. Go get some M80s. Get some fucking woodpeckers. Get some, mortars. Anywhere, everywhere, all the time. Right? The towns, which were much nicer than they are now. All of them. The freaking police department, sheriff department. Things that look like, in little small hick towns like this used to be like goddamn Barney Fife and Andy Griffith or some shit practically. Got like a few policemen or something, a few sheriffs, working a whole territory, fucking hundreds of square miles or something, and that was more than plenty. They would stop off at the store, with a rifle and a shotgun in their gun rack and a pistol on the dash, money clip with $2,000 cash in it, sitting on the dash of their fucking pickup truck with the keys in the ignition and the engine running and the windows rolled down and the doors unlocked. They walk inside, buy a pack of cigarettes, and bullshit with the person behind the counter for 10 minutes. Walk out and nobody's touched anything. The truck's still there, everything's fine. Kids ride their bike to the fucking store, or they ride their bike to the park, and they just leave it parked there. Nobody needed a chain or a lock or anything, because nobody would ever dream of stealing anything. Why? Because nobody ever needed to steal anything. You could afford everything you ever fucking wanted. You didn't have to worry about getting robbed or getting attacked. I'm talking about the way the world fucking used to be, or at least maybe I'm idealizing shit, but I'm telling you, man, that's more what it was like. That's what it was like. People didn't even lock their fucking doors, man. Some people didn't even have fucking door locks on their doors, because who the fuck needs them? Nobody would ever think to try to break in or open a door that wasn't theirs. You know? World that used to exist in the Western world. The way things used to be. Yeah. Fucking towns, communities, like just cities, dude. There'd be big gatherings. People would fucking, you move into a neighborhood back in the day, all your neighbors would show up knocking at your door. They'd bring you over cookies, bring you over a pie, introduce themselves. Oh, hey, heard you just moved in here. I'm your neighbor, live down the street. Nice to meet you. Me and they'd list all the other neighbors. We just got here. Yeah, we heard you just moved in. We're going to have a barbecue. Want to invite you over. Everybody get to know everybody. Everybody's fucking friendly. People work together. That's the fucking way it used to be, man. Now it's like neighbors don't know neighbors. You can live in the same fucking building with people for fucking years, not even know their fucking names. I see people coming out of this place. There's only like a dozen rooms or something here. I see people coming in and out of this place. I don't know who the fuck they are, dude. Like, lived here for a fucking year and a half. I didn't know the names of half the fucking people lived in the damn building I lived in before for like 4 or 5 months. That's fucking crazy, man. What the fuck happened to us, man? No, I'm just telling you, man. This is what it was like. This is what the world was like for our fucking boomer parents and older than boomer grandparents and shit. That was the world they lived in, basically. World, and our, old, depending on how old you are, like for me, my parents are boomers. I'm like, I don't know, I grew up thinking I was Generation X, and then they changed it, so apparently I'm like on the edge of millennial. Now I would be considered millennial, but when I was younger, it's like they moved the fucking scale or something as the years went on. So like when I was younger, they said I was a Generation X. Now they're fucking putting me in like a millennial category or whatever. It's like the way they measure things moved or something. I don't know. I don't know, when I was like a teenager and everything, I was told I was like in Generation X or whatever, but now people are saying I'm a fucking millennial, like whatever. I'm about 41, soon to be 41. Soon when I live that long, which I imagine I will, and then some. And it's just... I ain't saying I haven't got away with some shit here and there or whatever. I know there's tons of situations where I could have been screwed over or whatever. Things could have gone sideways for me. People could have railroaded me and screwed me over and whatever. But I can't help but think if I'd done the shit my dad did, you know, various things my dad did, like for a lot of people, the older generations, dude, I had a lawyer one time. Still driving a car around. I think he had hundreds of You know, there's people in the boomer generation that have had hundreds of DUIs that still have their driver's license. You know why? Because at the time when they got them, there was no law in place that would take away their driver's license. Whereas since the law passed, anyone after that time that got a DUI after that time lost their license after 3. You know, that's just an example. There's old farts, boomer generation, that may have had 100 or 200 or more fucking, DUIs, where they got, which is just the times when they got caught being drunk driving or whatever, or high or whatever the fuck, right? And then they had to pay some $50 or $100 or watch a video for half an hour or something, and that was it. Slap on the wrist, and then they're gone. Or the cop tells them to pour their beer out and go home or whatever, right? Nowadays, you're fucked for many years and out thousands of dollars and 3 times, and you're in prison and your fucking life is ruined forever and you have no transportation and so on and so forth. I'm just an example of how, like, the older generation got a lot of breaks that aren't given to people now, you know? And those breaks still apply to them, but they don't apply to the rest of us, you know? For the most part. I ain't saying they don't give some of us breaks, but damn, dude. Just, I wonder how old this one is. About to find out. We'll see based on how bad it looks. Okay, that's definitely a bit old. Oh, I got John Wayne in the background on TV. Got this, I'm just going through this DVD set. Been half watching these John Wayne movies and stuff. Old shit. A lot of black and white stuff. A lot of stuff from, just in general, like, a lot of stuff from, like, teens and 20s is terrible. Although there's nothing from the teens. John Wayne started in, like, I think 1928 or something. So, but still, there's a lot of stuff that's, pretty bad quality in the 20s, and even somewhat in the 30s and stuff like that. Just, I'm gonna turn some audio on so I can see how bad it is. Oh God. Yeah, this is an old one. Oh, dude, that guy's in it though. I like that guy. Might be all right. You can just tell a lot of these older movies. You start to be able to tell the really old ones, like from the 20s. This is probably got to be from the 20s or like early 30s or something, Yeah, you can tell because you can see that they're like Just like dudes are wearing way too much makeup and it's like clear that they've got lipstick on and shit like that. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Because they just want the camera to pick shit up and the cameras are so shitty, you know? Another way you can tell is like they don't have a lot of the music tracks. Like normally, if the movie starts out, it'd be like da 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 or something, you know. And these ones is just like this, like you know, sound of like an old record player before it starts playing the song or something. Like, right? Yeah. Then you know you're looking at like some 20s or some early 30s shit. Some of the old stuff is good though. Yeah. There's some good silent films, honestly, but you gotta really go dig through them or something. A lot of them is fucking terrible. I've watched a number of silent films. Some of them are just so bad that I couldn't stand them, and I don't know. And other ones are just. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to try and watch a silent film, you know? And then there's some old films that even. If you can get yourself to sit through even the ones that aren't silent, but like are just a really old movie, like for instance, Hell's Angels, right? That's a really good fucking movie, actually. And it was very high budget for the time, you know? Extremely high budget. And this is like Howard Hughes, you know, producing this shit. Just like tons of money in it. I mean, you can't imagine how expensive it would be back in those days to make something like that, you know? And very good, very well made. Considering like the time in which it was made and everything. And the type of tech. That was a pretty good fucking movie, dude, honestly. I mean, but still, like, even with something like that, you know, when you're used to like modern stuff, you just have to kind of be in the right mindset to get yourself to watch it and not just want to shut it off and look at something else, you know? Huh. You know, I just thought of something. I wonder, and I'm sure I could find it. I wonder what it would look like in color. Yeah, it really should be. I'm sure Howard Hughes would like that if it was like colorized. I don't think he would object to that. I think he would probably think that was a good idea. If it was done correctly. Hmm, I don't know. There's something about watching black and white films, though. It's like, just in general, whether it be silent or it's just old and things are different, you know? It's a different experience, you know? You can get yourself to pay attention. Sometimes they're really good, though, you know? But they don't constantly, like, cue you to make you pay attention, you know? They don't treat you like you're a goldfish and, like, have to shriek in your head to make you go, what the fuck was that? To get your attention back on them, you know? So you really have to, like, start paying attention, actually, you know? There's not going to be a, you know, rising, you know, sound of an explosion or some volume going up and down, you know? You're like trying really hard to hear something, and that makes you try to pay attention. And then the next minute, there's you know, and then if you start getting sick of that, then there's an explosion or some gunshots and screaming or something. So now you gotta pay attention. And then there's a music track that's really loud, and that makes you look at it and go, "What the fuck is with the loud music?" Right? See, that's how they do it with like modern shit or a fake laugh track, you know. Pretty much what they do with modern movies is just bullshit us, you know. If you were to take the music track and the varying sound levels out of most modern movies, be bored as shit. No way you could sit through that. But some of these black and white movies are actually well done, to where if you have it in you to be able to pay attention, and you pay attention and be like, wow, that's a good movie, you know? I didn't even need to use all the normal, like, brainwashing tricks to get me to watch it, Now you have to, it takes some effort, though, all the distractions, the outside world of the modern day. I'll be honest, I had a projector screen in my room at the time when I first watched silent films. So I had like a 8-foot fucking screen to watch them on in a dark room, my bedroom. So, you know, I mean, this is like the whole fucking, basically the whole fucking wall, almost a huge area in front of me, and like not that far away from where I was laying in my bed. I was like, so yeah, it's like kind of easier to captivate my attention when there's this huge screen there, There's not many other places to look, right? You just have to put the phone down and, Yeah. I still have a projector and the projector screen, but my projector screen is it would still work. It's got some holes in it and such, and it's a little ripped in some places. It's not perfect. If I'm gonna ditch my freaking God, there's all sorts of little things that I don't want to just leave behind in my storage facility. If I end up ditching it or something. A lot of stuff I should donate to the poor, and some stuff I should just find a way, the smaller stuff that I want to keep, I should find a way to bring it with me. The thing is, how do you donate stuff? So you gotta find like a church that actually gives a shit or something, because like stuff like I don't even trust Teen Challenge, because I've heard how they help people, right? I mean, dude, so many of these churches, and you hear these stories from people that were actually, quote, helped or whatever, and you hear their actual story, and if you're not brainwashed as they are, you're like, oh, wow, so they just turned you into a slave, and, it sounds like the story of, like, Carl from Sling Blade, like, they gave me a good home, they dug a hole in the back, and every now and then they give me some biscuits and mustard. I'm really thankful for it. Like, okay. Sounds nice, Carl. Like, fuck. Yeah, they had me work about 10 hours a day out there in the field. And then they don't make a good place for me to sleep. They dug a hole out in the shed in the back, and they give me some biscuits and some mustard. Sometimes I could eat, a couple of biscuits a day, and it's like, wow, they really took good care of you, Carl. Sometimes they'd even put some water out for me. It was a little muddy, but I didn't mind. Like, fuck. Yeah, that's the kind of shit you hear, basically. Like, that's like an exaggeration, but that's kind of like the kind of shit you hear from these people that are like giving you the stories about how Teen Challenge helped them, or how this organization or that organization helped them. It's kind of like this. It's like I went to them looking for help, and then they gave me a job. Of course, they didn't pay me anything. I worked for like 2 years volunteering here. And then after a couple of years of volunteering, working for free, Then they give me a job paying minimum wage. Now I got a cot in the back. It's like, wow. That sounds wonderful, man. That's like, okay then. Holy shit. Yeah, man, that's the level of help that we have here in America and pretty much in the West, I think, for people. It's like, sure, we'll help you. Be our slave for years. And then we will give you a cot in the back of. You may sleep in the freezer in the back. And if you work extra hard, we might even give you a blanket, slave. One day we might even pay you meager wages so that you can afford snacks and whatnot. Right? Shit, the world we live in.